Don't blink. This might be the month everything changes for the dinar. For years, the story of the Iraqi dinar has been one of potential, a slow-burning fuse on a financial firework that never quite seemed to ignite. We've heard the rumors, digested the analyst reports, and watched for the slightest hint of movement from the Central Bank of Iraq. But something is fundamentally different right now. The air has shifted. The language is no longer about distant futures or theoretical possibilities. It is about imminent action, about tangible steps being taken in real time. What we are witnessing in November is not just another news cycle, it is the convergence of political will, economic necessity, and technical preparation on a scale we have not seen before. The Central Bank of Iraq is no longer just signaling reform, it is actively laying the groundwork for a monetary transformation that could redefine Iraq's place in the global economy. The phrase, removing the zeros, might sound like a simple technicality, a matter of lopping off a few digits from the banknotes, but I need you to understand that this is so much more than that. This is the complete and total modernization of a national currency, a project so complex and so profound that its success hinges on a perfect storm of factors all aligning at once. And the evidence is mounting that this alignment is happening now. Think about what this process truly entails. It's not just printing new, lower denomination notes. It's about building an entire new monetary system from the ground up. It's about recalling the entire existing currency in circulation. A massive logistical undertaking that requires immense public trust and a seamless operational pipeline. It's about recalibrating every single ATM, every bank terminal, every digital banking platform across the entire nation of Iraq. It's about re-educating an entire population on the value of their new money and ensuring that the transition is so smooth that it doesn't trigger panic or a loss of savings. This isn't a simple switch, it's a heart transplant for the Iraqi economy, and the surgeons in the central bank are now telling us the patient is prepped and ready for the operation. The reason November feels so electric, so pivotal, is that the prerequisites for this operation are finally falling into place. For years, the biggest obstacle was political instability, a government struggling to form, internal factions disagreeing on fundamental economic policy. This created an environment where a project of this magnitude was impossible. But now, with a more stable government in Baghdad, the central bank has the political cover it needs to execute its vision. They are not operating in a vacuum anymore. They have the mandate to make decisive moves. Furthermore, the economic necessity for this change has become too urgent to ignore. An economy running on such high denomination notes is inefficient, cumbersome, and a barrier to both foreign investment and internal growth. It creates practical nightmares for everyday Iraqis and signals to the rest of the world that the country's financial systems are outdated. By modernizing the currency, Iraq is not just making its money easier to count, it is sending a powerful signal to international markets and institutions that it is ready to graduate from a post-conflict economy to a mature, emerging market. This is about credibility. This is about taking a seat at the table. And the recent quiet strengthening of the dinar against the US dollar in local Iraqi markets, as reported by sources on the ground, is not a coincidence. It is the early, telltale sign of this growing confidence, the first tremor before the earthquake. It's the market beginning to price in the reality of a stronger, more stable, and fundamentally reformed Iraqi dinar. This isn't speculation anymore, it's the momentum building. So, what does this momentum actually look like on the ground, beyond the headlines and the official statements? Let's peel back the layers and look at the machinery that is now, finally, grinding into motion. The Central Bank of Iraq's recent announcements have moved from the philosophical, why we need a new currency, to the practical, how it will be achieved. This is a critical shift. They are now publicly detailing the phases of the currency swap, discussing the public awareness campaigns that will be launched to educate every citizen, and most importantly, they are securing the logistical partnerships to make it happen. Think about the sheer volume of cash that needs to be transported, secured, and distributed. This isn't just a delivery, it's a military-style operation for the financial sector. New notes have to be printed in secure facilities, shipped under the tightest security imaginable to regional banking centers across Iraq, and then fed into the system in a coordinated release that doesn't disrupt daily life. The fact that we are hearing concrete discussions about these logistics now, in November, suggests that the planning stages are largely complete and the implementation phase is being activated. This is no longer a theory in a boardroom, it's a plan being executed in the real world. And let's talk about the new currency itself. The removal of zeros is not just about making the numbers smaller, it's about creating a currency that is robust, secure, and modern. The new dinar notes will undoubtedly feature state-of-the-art anti-counterfeiting measures, holograms, color-shifting ink, sophisticated watermarks that bring it in line with global standards like the US dollar or the euro. This does two powerful things simultaneously. First, it restores dignity and trust in the national currency for the Iraqi people. Holding a note that feels valuable and is difficult to forge builds confidence. Second, it makes the currency far more resilient to fraud and manipulation, both from within and outside the country. This directly strengthens the currency's foundation. But the modernization goes beyond the physical paper. A key and often overlooked component of this entire project is the digital infrastructure that will support it. The central bank is not just launching new notes, it is launching a new monetary system that is integrated with digital banking platforms from day one. This means that as the new physical dinar enters circulation, the systems for online transfers, digital payments, and mobile banking will be fully operational and calibrated for the new denominations. This leapfrogs years of outdated financial technology and positions Iraq for a digital-first economic future. It makes transactions faster, more transparent, and more secure. It also brings a huge portion of the economy out of the informal, cash-based shadow and into the formal, regulated banking sector. This dramatically increases the government's ability to collect taxes, manage monetary policy, and understand the true flow of its economy. This digital integration is the silent partner in the revaluation story, the technological backbone that makes a sustained increase in value not just possible, but probable. Furthermore, this entire process is being watched closely by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Their tacit approval, or even their active technical assistance, is a form of international validation that Iraq has not enjoyed for decades. It signals to global investors that Iraq is becoming a safer bet. When the new, lower denomination, technologically advanced dinar is officially launched, it won't just be a new day for Iraqis. It will be a green light for international capital looking for new frontiers. The money that has been sitting on the sidelines, wary of the complexity and instability of the old financial system, will see this as the all-clear signal. This influx of foreign investment is the jet fuel for economic growth, and it is the ultimate driver of long-term currency strength. The pieces are not just on the board, they are being moved into a winning position right before our eyes. Now, understanding the sheer scale of this transformation and the forces driving it, the most critical question for you, the investor and observer, becomes this: what does the other side of this event actually look like? Let's project forward, not with wild speculation, but with a logical analysis grounded in what a successful currency reform would truly mean for the dinar's value. The immediate aftermath of the redenomination will be a period of intense adjustment. There will be confusion, there will be challenges with the exchange process in remote areas, and there will be a period where both the old and new currencies coexist. This is normal and should be expected in any undertaking of this magnitude. But once that initial phase passes, the fundamental strengths of the Iraqi economy, unshackled by a cumbersome currency, will begin to dictate the new value. We must look at the bedrock assets that underpin the dinar. Iraq sits on one of the largest proven oil reserves on the planet. This isn't just a resource, it is a perpetual engine of national wealth. Currently, that wealth is translated into dinars through a complex and inefficient system. A modernized currency with a sensible exchange rate would create a direct, transparent, and powerful link between the value of Iraq's oil exports and the value of its money. Every barrel of oil sold would provide a stronger, more substantial boost to the national currency's standing. This is the concept of a petrocurrency, but for Iraq, it has never been fully realized. Post-reform, it can be, but it's not just about oil. A stable and strong dinar unlocks the value of every other sector of the Iraqi economy. Imagine an Iraq where its vast agricultural potential in the Mesopotamian Valley can be financed with low-interest loans in a stable currency. Imagine its reconstruction and real estate sectors attracting investment not just from the region, but from across the globe, because the currency risk has been drastically reduced. A modern dinar paves the way for the Baghdad Stock Exchange to become a legitimate destination for international capital, allowing Iraqi companies to raise money and grow, creating jobs and prosperity that further reinforce the currency's strength. This creates a powerful self-sustaining cycle of growth and stability. The psychological impact on the Iraqi people cannot be overstated either. For a generation, they have lived with a currency that symbolized hyperinflation and economic hardship. To hold a new, A strong dinar in their hands would be a profound psychological shift from a mindset of survival to one of prosperity and future building. This would lead to a surge in domestic investment and consumer spending, further heating up the economy in a positive feedback loop. The collective decision of millions of Iraqis to trust and save in their own currency, rather than seeking refuge in the US dollar, would in itself create massive upward pressure on the dinar's value. This is the moment where the narrative flips. This is when the story changes from what if to what's next. The journey of the dinar has been long, and for many, fraught with disappointment. But the signals we see today are not echoes of the past. They are the foundation stones of a completely different future. The Central Bank of Iraq is not just talking, it is doing. The government is not just hoping, it is facilitating. The market is not just waiting, it is anticipating. All the threads are coming together to form a picture that is clearer and more promising than it has ever been. This is not a drill. This is the realignment we have been watching for. And that is precisely why you need to stay connected. The window between the signal and the event is the most critical time for any investor. To make sure you don't miss a single update, a single crucial piece of analysis, or the official announcement the moment it happens, you have to take action right now. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because my channel is your front line for this unfolding story. I am dissecting every statement from the central bank, every shift in the local exchange rates, and every piece of geopolitical news that impacts this situation. I am committed to bringing you organic, original, and factual information, cutting through the noise to give you the clarity you need. Don't be on the outside looking in when history is made. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's continue this journey together. The game is being rewritten, and you have a front row seat.